Hello again and welcome back everyone. Today I shall be teaching you how to remove an A7S display because this thing is defective. My second display on my A7S has a line on it. Let me go show you where the line is. It's right over here, so let me go show you. Look at that line right there. That is a line in my display. You might not see it too clearly, but see there is a line. Why the heck is this thing not showing it? Probably see a line right there. That's my display line. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna replace this thing with my original display and send this thing back to the seller. So this is my original display and I'm gonna put this thing back into my A7S. How I'm gonna remove this thing is pretty simple because I put some double tape under it, and I'm gonna show you how I open this thing from the factory. So first thing you wanna do is you wanna take a screwdriver, open only one of these screws. You don't need to have two of them open. There you go. Use a pair of tweezers. Take this thing off. It's not open enough, I think. You wanna unscrew this. Then pick this bit up. Let's just use some blue tack. Oh, there you go. And now, from this little hole here, you can actually see the underbit of the screen, which is silver, sort of in there. And what you want to do is you want to stick stick a small screwdriver into this thing and push it up. So this is my small screwdriver right here. I'm just gonna push this with. Why is it full of glue? Let me go take the glue off. You want this thing to be preferably metal and very thin. So I'm gonna remove all this glue. There you go. Stick it in this thing and press it up. Then you'll see that your display is sort of like coming up right there. Put your small pry tool into there, like that. Then slide the whole display open. There you go, see? Cut the glue. Then lift this thing up. Once you lift this thing up, go and unclip the bottom connector on this thing, which is pretty easy to do. Just get one of these things. Actually no, you can actually use your nail. So use your nail and just pry this thing off. There you go. The connector should be off. Let's see if it is. Let's use this thing. It seems like it is off. So if it's off, you can actually pull this thing off straight away. There you go. And this is my display all off. Next thing you want to do about this display is you want to unclip the cables. Clip this. This thing is unclipped. Then unclip a small one. Pull the cables out. There you go. And let me go focus a bit better. Next thing you want to do is you want to unstick this bit, which is firmly stuck with some double-sided tape. So I'm gonna go and cut this double-sided tape with this small pry tool. And so once you cut this thing off, just pull it off like this. It's clean. Now I want to take this thing off because it's gonna return to the seller, and I don't want the seller to have to like deal with all this disgusting stuff. Then we go set this thing to 0.3 meters again. There you go. So I'm gonna peel all this disgusting stuff off, just like that. Then you want to take this thermal pad, you want to bring it with you, and there you have it. Your display is off. Now you want to stick this thermal pad back on your old display, in my case at least. So then what you want to do is you want to stick this thing on. If you're using a new display, you want to go and put some new adhesive on this thing, but if you're using an old one like mine, you can actually reuse it. So this is how I do it. Do this, stick that thing on. Then what you want to do now is, this thing's pretty sticky, so I'll leave it on. Take this stuff. Then I'm gonna put some double-sided tape on top of this. Not a lot, but just enough to like stick it on. Because I'm gonna take this thing off again after this thing comes back from the refurbishing plant. So what I'm gonna do is, actually no, I'm actually gonna go swap this thing off with another display, so I don't really care about it anymore. Then what you wanna do is you wanna cut this thing, put a slit of double-sided tape down there. I'd say one more, because this double-sided tape is not very strong. If yours is strong, you don't need a lot, just need enough for this thing to stick. There you go. Next thing you want to do is you want to clip these things in. If you buy a new display, these cables, which are the, let me go see if this thing is in focus. These cables, which are the backlight cables, these things are not usually folded, so you gotta fold them like I folded them this morning. So how you're supposed to do it, just what you call this, decode, and just peel off the double-sided tape, peel off this bottom bit. Then next thing you want to do is you want to slip this cable in, slip this cable in. Let's just do it one at a time after I stick this thing back on. The connector to the side has to be 2.4 cm after I measured this morning, so I'm gonna go measure this one. I think it's nearly 2.4. Push it a bit more sideways. There you go. Press it down. Then I'm gonna go let me go wipe this thing off, cause it has some sweat on it. Pressing this bit down. Now let's put this connector in. Then this connector in. For this connector you can probably use another hand. Sorry I'm covering the camera, but it's pretty hard to go inside. So let me just push this thing in. Oh shit. Come on. There you go. I'm gonna push this guy in fully. Be careful you don't want to rip these things. There you go. Then you want to push this thing fully in. Like that. Then you're gonna clip this thing back in. There you go. Now that's like half the journey done. Next you wanna remove the adhesive from your okay, my battery's sort of dying, but that should be fine. You're gonna remove the excess adhesive from this. So let me go and scrape at it. Actually, I'm gonna scrape at this thing while I change battery, so goodbye. Okay, I'm back after scraping all my glue off, and now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go prep this thing with some double-sided tape. So how you can prep this thing is pretty easy. All you have to do is just get some double-sided tape. In this case I'm not using any high-powered double-sided tape because obviously I'm not gonna be essentially doing this for a permanent fix, cause I'm gonna have this thing replaced. I mean, have this display replaced in a few weeks anyway. So this is all just temporary. Now I'm just going to cut this thing. Hopefully get the right width, because these sides are pretty thin and this is too thin, I think, but that's okay. So now press this thing down. Press all the sides down, and there you go. Nice. Then you want to peel this thing off. Go. I think that might be not enough, so let me just put some extra. It's a bit too thick, so I'm gonna just cut this thing in half for the sides. Actually, no, wait, let me just take this excess glue on the sides off. The original glue is actually black, and I'm using this clear double-sided tape because I don't have any black glue. So sorry about that, if that actually bothers you. So just gonna put this strip down there. Put another strip on the bottom of this thing. Just like that. Then I'm gonna go and peel this thing off. Next, let's do the top. This strip is a bit too thick, I think. Yeah, I'm gonna shave the top off by a little bit. So okay, that should do, I think. Let me just okay, nice. Then that's all I have to do. Just push this thing inside there. Still a bit too thick, I think. Yeah. So I actually got the tip on the side of the display, which is not perfect, but I think that'll do. Some more extra tape, because that was not enough, obviously. This strip, actually this would probably fit in there, no? Yeah, okay. I'm gonna put the strip in there. Then I'm gonna peel this thing off. Just like that. Then I'm gonna do a second bit, which then should sit nicely in there. Just take a scatter. Cool. Then just peel this off. Then you need a small strip on there, which is hard to get, but okay, I'm gonna do it. Small piece. Cool. Then you wanna cut this thing in small, thin bits. Then you wanna peel this thing off. There you go. Next thing is you wanna put this thing into the display. So how you do that's pretty easy. All you need to do is you need to let me put this outside tape somewhere else. There you go. So all you need to do is just put this thing in the wait. First take the eyepiece off. I find that actually helps. Then also I put the screw back in. Oh shit. While I was scraping the glue off, so this thing doesn't wobble anymore. And now you can pull the screen up. There you go. Then you want to feed this thing into this, which is not as easy as it sounds, because it's pretty tight in there. I've done this twice before, so let me demonstrate how I do it. So first you get this retro photo house style joystick screwdriver. Then you wanna use this thing to push this into the connector. Wait, let me add some lighting for a while. So I'm gonna get some light, huge light bulb. Then let me get my light adapter and plug this thing in. There you go. That's like flooding the whole space with lights. There you go. So next, I can see a bit better right now. Now it's so hot in here. There we go. Bring the AC down to 26 degrees Celsius. Because I don't know why it was at 27. Then just gonna push this thing down in the connector right there. Feed it in. Then it's not feeding in, so you wanna push these little tabs. Now I'm super sorry you can't see this bit, but it's pretty hard to actually show you because of the fact that this is happening under the display. Then what you want to do is you want to make sure everything is connected. Just do this. Then check everything. Make sure everything seems seated. Nice. Then you want to press this thing to lock it. There we go. Test display. It's not working yet, so that means that I haven't seated this thing in properly enough. So next I want to pull on these tabs. Then let's try to lock this thing back in for a second time. Let's try turning this thing on. Now it works, so stick it on. Stick it on. When I say stick it on, I mean stick it on properly, not like on one side only, so you gotta like pull this thing up, shimmy it on this side. Then my flexible cables are stuck, so I'm gonna unjam that thing. Then I'm gonna put this assembly in. There you go. And my A7S has a working display, which has less of a disgusting blob than last time. So thank you for watching. Hopefully you liked the video. Like, subscribe, comment, and goodbye.